Yeah. Well, are you gonna Yeah, do it. Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. All right. Well then,
If
yeah,
you
I
got,
can.
long as you got space for it and you
Yeah,
don't have no
I do.
problems like getting it off of there.
If I can't find it, well, I did it before. You walked me through it, but if I have a problem, then you can kind of guide me through it again.
Yo, that boy Lawrence Pembroke be having some crazy pictures on his John.
Who?
It's this dude Lawrence Pembroke, and it always pop up on my John somehow. But he always got these crazy
Like new joints and all that?
yeah.
I don't know who that is though.
I don't know. I think he went to Mansion, but I ain't sure.
And they popping
Yeah,
up.
he played ball for Mansion.
Oh, okay. And they popping up on your joint?
Yeah, I think he on my somehow on my John. You know, I don't know how this shit works.
Right.
He got some smokers on there.
Really? Well, if y'all friends now, he can do that.
Yeah, but he always put them Johns on them like, damn son, you gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, they don't care, man. And I guess I'm of the mindset that one of the things I always say is I take everybody. I don't know half the people that I have on as friends. I take everybody on. So
he must have some gear, like it's called gemstone.
That doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, look it up, Lawrence Pembroke.
All right, once we get done,
yeah,
I'll take a peep for it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start the process now.
Yeah, it's 7:57, so it's about that time.
Give it another minute.
Nah, you got a T. It's gonna take.
Oh, all
like
right.
minutes to log in.
Yeah. All right.
Live on Facebook, live on Workplace. Okay.
Make sure you get it to the group page.
I am. Well, I'm gonna walk through it now. That's why I'm gonna go ahead and start. All right, choose. Okay.
Check it out now.
Share to a group. I have to make sure. Okay, real bros.
I ain't even had time to pack my shotgun.
Yo, how was the visit, Night?
It was cool, man. It popped me to death out this joint.
When was the last time you saw your
Yo, I'm still hearing people. I'm hearing people calling me like pop.
How many kids were there?
It was Terrell couldn't come, but Nico was here with his 3 kids. Then my sister was here. Well, her son came over with his grandbaby, and then she had my niece's son.
Your sister, Erica?
Yeah, Erica. Yeah,
okay.
Too, yeah. My house was full.
You said she has a grand?
Yeah.
Wow.
She got 2 grandkids.
Wait a minute, how old is she? She has a son, right?
Yeah, Shai and Samaya. Both of them got kids.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's not bad, man. I mean, it's good to do that. When was the last time all of y'all were together?
It's the first time that all of us was together.
Oh wow.
But I was that's why I was hoping my other son could come, because we took pictures, we did the whole shit.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, they'll. I guess it's almost like you're damn near the patriarch, huh?
Yeah, I am, cousin. I don't got no dad, so it started with me. Like I said, I always say, my family tree start with me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's not bad. So y'all gonna try to do this regularly?
Yeah.
You said we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do we streaming live yet?
Yeah. No, that's good, man. Like you said, you need to do that. I did enough, man. I think we need to do that. That used to be the big thing, man. Everybody look forward to family
reunions and all that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they really happen like that. I think, and sometimes I think we've gotten a little too fancy, whereas now we want to go and book some big ballroom and formal and all that stuff. It ain't got to
be all that, man. It ain't got to be all that.
Before it was just a matter of getting together. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think we had to get back to that, man. Because I think sometimes people.
Can you still hear me good?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right.
People feel funny because they might not have the resources to pay for the dinners and all that stuff. I think like I said, man, we had to get back to cooking, go to grandma's house, cooking in the kitchen, and throwing down like that, you know.
Sure.
I was tired, boss.
So what's up, man? So what we doing? Let's get rolling, man. We might as well dive right in.
Yeah.
You want to welcome folk? You want to
That's my joint now. I'm tired, boss.
Yeah. You want to welcome the folk night?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Real Brothers, Real Brothers for the Real World, where we talk about topics that affect our community. And like I always say, we ain't politically correct. You know, we ain't politically correct, and you know, we try not to be too offensive or too over the top, but you know, we just here to have a good time. So we join y'all to we welcome y'all to join us and have some good conversation.
No doubt now.
Yep.
So what's our topic tonight, Black?
All right, we got a couple things. You want to just dive right in? Is that what you're saying?
Might as well.
Might
as well get to it.
All right, this first one, I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. First topic, and we're gonna start with you, Pooch.
No doubt now.
Is the Bible scientifically correct or scientifically based? Well, how do we pose
accurate?
That? Say it again.
Scientifically accurate.
Scientifically accurate. Right.
Right.
All right. So what do you think, Pooch? Let's what are your thoughts on that, man?
Well,
check it out now.
I think now is it scientifically accurate? So it's not a scientific, but it's accurate in all things. One of the things that
no doubt now.
I talk about with a lot of individuals, when we talk about the Bible, is one of the questions I always ask them is, what do you know about Job 26:7?
Check it out now.
And Job 26:7 states that the earth is a sphere and it hangs upon nothing.
Check it out now.
So I always say, well, why do we know that's scientifically accurate? And when did we know that? So the question would be in 1968 when man went to the moon.
No doubt now.
And this, even though Job talked about this thousands of years ago, he knew something that man didn't know for a fact.
Who? Job.
Job.
Didn't know that.
The book of Job.
So
who's Job?
Not Job. Job.
Oh, all right.
So you know, like I said, it's scientifically accurate because the Bible has always proven itself to be true in those areas. When it talks about, for instance, God gave the Israelites commandments to stay away from a dead body, not to touch it. And we found out why that's important. Because of the simple fact that the body carries germs.
Right.
You know, and there was a cleansing process involved for up to 7 days. So it's a lot of things. Those are just two things that I'm going to touch on, even though I could touch on multiple scenarios where the Bible is proven to be scientifically accurate. But those are just two of the things that you know that we'll talk about right now.
All right. Like,
how we got to this topic? I just want to let everybody know how we just didn't pull this out our ass. So me and Pooch was having a discussion. Well, actually, all three of us was having a discussion, but it started with me and Pooch. And I know he's one of my more religious friends. You know what I mean? He's with the J-Dubs and everything. And you know, so how I thought he would be the best person to ask this question to, because I think he's more knowledgeable about, you know, Bible-based stuff than I am. And my question came to him was like, how come there's all this like physical and scientific evidence of like the earth and people being around for thousands, if not, you know, millions of years. So like the Bible only goes back, you know, a certain, well, Genesis goes back supposedly to the beginning of time. but it doesn't mention Neanderthals. It doesn't mention Homo erectus. It doesn't mention dinosaurs, you know, and all a bunch of other paleontologic type issues or topics. So I just like my question was like, so how do you reconcile the fact that the Bible only gives you, you know, certain times, and it's supposed to be like the beginning.
Right.
Like I know it says Adam and Eve, but then once you get past that, you know, it comes like to Jesus and then modern times, but it never mentions dinosaurs. It never mentions like any other of the scientific stuff that, you know, that is proven fact. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
that's where the question came in.
So go ahead. So well then, what are your thoughts then, Nike? I mean, where do you come down on it?
I mean, I was brought up as a Christian, but my beliefs have changed a lot over the years, and I kind of have my own way of looking at religion and spirituality. I consider myself more spiritual than religious.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because now, even though if I had to be put in a box, I would say I'm a Christian.
Right.
But my beliefs aren't just Christian based. Like I don't believe that a Christian and a Muslim can't be, you know, on equal footing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I believe that, like the God that I know, he wouldn't just make it where you could only find him one way, or he's only available to one specific set of people.
So nice.
Right?
Do you think? Oh, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, I'm just saying, like, so my belief is that all of these different prophets, like Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, Vishnu, all these different religions, like Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam, they all have messengers, and they all basically preach the same message:
right.
Be kind, love one another.
Right.
You know, thou shalt not kill, and this. So you know,
like, I mean, is that kind of where the struggle comes in, though? Because you said that you don't think that your God would that a Muslim and let's say a Muslim and a Jewish person can't be on the same footing. Is that kind of where it causes the struggle, because it's almost like it pits one against the other? Is that where you go?
Well, no, it's actually human. That's human nature, right? To find differences in one another, right?
Right.
Like if you think about it, let's just take Christianity and Islam, right? So they both basically say the same exact thing, except one is written in Arabic and one is written in, you know, Latin, or well, they translate it to the English, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, why is, if Muhammad is giving the same message as Jesus, why do people say that if you're not a Christian, you go to hell?
Yeah.
Or if you're not a Muslim, you go, you know, you won't be in the garden or whatever.
Now to kind of swing it back, when I kind of had this conversation with someone also, and it kind of goes along with what Shice is saying. Mm-hmm. Somebody told me that, and Pooch, I want to get your thoughts on this, that the Bible isn't based on science, and I'll just say totally based on science, is based on, you know, faith. So are we looking at it the wrong way to look at the Bible and expect to be able to prove the stories in the Bible true? Are we looking at it the wrong way?
No, Pooch probably can answer that better than me, but I think there's a lot of truth to the Bible. I'm not saying that the Bible is not true, because they have proof that there was a great flood, right? So we know that that's historically accurate. You know what I mean?
But what I'm getting at is, but okay, the person told me though that, and I don't know if this was their perspective or what, but that the Bible isn't strictly based on science, it's based on faith. So if that's the case, then the stories of the Bible, you aren't going to be able to point to historical data and prove them the way that you prove other things. And that's kind of, I'm trying to find a comment that Shai says something along those facts, along those lines. But what do you think, Pooch? What are your thoughts about that, though? I mean, if we're...
Well, the Bible isn't and I stated this when we first started talking, it's not a scientific book. It's a book from God to mankind. Kind of look at it like this. So when you buy a brand new car, right?
Right.
What's the one thing that you look for in the glove compartment?
The manual.
Exactly. To get the most out of your car, you got to follow that manual closely in terms of what type of oil to put in, tires, air pressure, all that stuff, right? And that's what the Bible is. It's a letter. It's like a letter from God telling us the best way to live our lives, the best way to get the most out of our lives to gain His approval. Is it a scientific book? No, but it is scientifically accurate and geographically accurate. And so I think when you look at,
but then those two things though, don't they disagree with each other then? Because if you're saying
no. Well, hold on, wait, finish your question.
If you're saying that, you know, it's a manual, you look in the glove box and it's telling you the right way to live to get the most out of life. But then you said the first thing you said is that it's not a scientific book. So isn't that the answer to the question from your perspective, then, that in your, from the way you view things, it's not a book based on science and shouldn't be looked at for that? No?
Well, in some ways, like a lot of historians, they'll use the Bible, or they'll use science or like some type of geographical reference when it talks about specifically, like, look at when God talked about there would be no inhabitant in Babylon ever again. Well, geographers looked at where everything that took place in that reference about Babylon, and it was found to be Iraq. Iraq is modern day Babylon.
How come there's all this like physical and scientific evidence
about Babylon, and it was found to be Iraq?
Mike, you want to
Iraq is modern day Babylon.
Somebody got the
physical and scientific.
We got an echo.
Okay, there we go.
It's like a drag in it.
That better?
Yeah.
All right, you know it was me. You know it was me that messed up.
Of course it was you.
I know.
Of course it was you.
I gotta keep it real.
I ain't even checked my joint. I was like, all right.
I know it's that nigga.
Yeah, my phone is turned down. So I know what I was saying is it like so. Historical research was done to see where modern day Babylon existed, and they found out to be it was in Iraq. So, and you look at it from a scientific and geographical research and study, yes, it is very accurate in those areas, but it's not intended to be that. It's intended to give you
guidance,
points of view of how to live your life in harmony with God's will.
Okay, I got a question. Let me ask this then. So if it's just meant to be a guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then how come?
No, not just a guide, just a guide, but it's intended to give us God's way of how we should live our lives.
Okay, all right. Let me stop you right there then. So how come? I'm not going to say all, but how come a lot of Christians believe that if you're not Christian, you're going to burn in hell? Or if you're like, so the Quran is a manual as well. And it says the exact same thing. So how come Christians don't believe that Muslims can go to heaven and vice versa?
Well, when you
understand what I'm saying? Like, how come Buddhists can't go to heaven? How come Hindus can't go to heaven?
I understand
what I'm saying. All of them have all of them have the manual per se, right? The manual.
Right.
So how come everybody don't have the same access, through their manual?
Well, let me address the first one of the things you talked about. So now the Bible talks about there being one path to God. That's through his son, Christ Jesus. Now there are different different sects of Christianity. Now the Catholic Church being one, they teach hellfire and purgatory as a means of what they believe, but nowhere in the Bible does it say anything about going to hell if you die. If you're a sinful person.
I thought it said
the Bible,
cast in the fire, cast in the lake of fire.
Well, the lake of fire and sulfur. This is where it gets deep, and I don't want to get too deep because we don't have the time. But in the book of Revelations, it starts out saying this is what vision given to the Apostle John of things to come. But that lake of sulfur and fire, whenever God talks about something being permanently destroyed,
right,
he uses fire to talk about it. Like when you
you
burn up some tissue, right? Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
You burn up a piece of paper, right? Is that paper coming back to its original form?
No.
All right.
So you think that's to paint a picture, not literally.
Right.
Then.
It's to paint a picture, but it's not.
It's not literal.
Oh no, it's not literal. But here's the thing, though, and to back that up, this is why I say the Bible is accurate. When the Jews fell into idol worship back in the days where they were around the Canaanites,
right?
They worshiped a god called Baal. And
was that the golden moose or whatever they made?
Well,
the golden
Baal
moose.
Baal worship was it's a little. We'll get into that another time.
Okay.
But the Baal worship consisted of them passing their children through the fire to prove their love for Baal or to get blessings from Baal.
Okay.
But God said in his word, the Bible, that kind of thing maybe came into his heart to ask his worshipers to do that.
To do something.
So
like
don't confuse when you talked about people burning in fire and hell and purgatory. Don't confuse what false worship is with what true worship.
No, I didn't say anything about false worship.
I
said. Wait. Let me finish.
But you're not.
I didn't say any.
I didn't say you said false worship. I was bringing it to the point of what you were talking about why other religions don't have a pathway in that.
Yeah, and I didn't reference false worship at all. I said Muslims, Hindus.
Well, just about all of them have their own manual.
Right. So I was saying, I was speaking I was piggybacking on what you said about looking in the glove compartment and finding a manual. Everybody has a manual.
Everyone has a manual. But this is the question I had as I thought about it a little later. Do we make the mistake? Because somebody else mentioned it also. Shice mentioned it. I mentioned that. There's someone. Here you go. Arthur Brinson said that. He said that it's a book based on faith, and there's no science in it. Do we make the mistake of not basically saying, just kind of coming out and saying that this isn't a book based on science, that it is based on faith? Because if you say that, then doesn't that take away that takes away the person that's looking for a reason to be a non-believer? If you can't prove to him the science of it, they're gonna hold on to that non-belief and say, well, you haven't proven to me your point of view, versus if you told them from the beginning, well, look, what I'm telling you to do is believe this manual will help you to get the most out of life. But are you going to be able to find science or prove it all out in science? Probably not. Wouldn't we do ourselves and I guess society as a whole some justice to kind of put that out there from the beginning? You know what I mean? What do you think? What do you think, Nike?
Say that again. Like what?
Like would we do better for society as a whole if we put that out in the beginning, that it is not a totally scientifically based book, that it is based on faith? Because if you said that, if someone told you that, then you won't always be looking for quote unquote the proof. If you know that, okay, some of these stories you're gonna have to just believe.
So that means that I could write a book and I could write a book and say, you know what? This has no factual evidence in it, but I want you to read my book and just have faith in me that I know what I'm talking about, or that God gave me the message.
You can do that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, if you, like, would you just believe somebody that told you the sky was red, right?
Well,
Just because you believed in them, you know what I mean? You have to have some science. See, I think that's like a problem with our society, right? A lot of our society is based, they make their opinions without factual evidence behind it, right? So, like, for me, and that's just me, I need something, like, when I want to believe in something, I need to be able to prove it.
Well, are you an atheist, Knight?
No, I'm not an atheist. I do believe in God. I never saw God.
So you halfway there then, because now you are saying that you believe in something that's greater than yourself. And some people
I believe it because there's logic behind what I believe.
Okay, I
can say that like this.
Right.
I do believe that there's a God, because everything that is created has to have a creator.
Right. That's the bottom line.
We didn't just get here just off the like, there wasn't just a humbug that we hear. Right. There, even that scientists say, like, there's a Big Bang theory.
Right.
The Big Bang theory that caused the universe to collapse on each other and expand it and all that bullshit, right? But even with the Big Bang, you still had to have something to bang together. So where did that come from?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, right. So again, and I know this is all of it. This applies to all of us. All of us believe in God. But
I believe in God, but what I'm saying is a lot of these religious books, are made to separate people, right? There's been more more wars and more people killed over religion than any other thing in the world.
Let me chime in on that, and I'm going to say kind of repeat one of the things that Pooch just said. If you read your manual that we talked about, using Pooch's analogy, which is your Bible, if you read that manual, one of the rules that it says is that, treat everyone the way you're supposed to be treated. Now, do some people go and take religion the wrong way and interpret it the wrong way and start wars and things like that? Yeah, they do. But again, no manual. I've never read any of the manuals, and I'm not claiming to be an expert on any of them, but I've never read anything in any one of those books that said anything about hating anyone else. So I guess to that point, as far as the wars, that goes back to, that's even deeper. That's human nature.
And you brought up a good point just now when you said that interpretation. Interpretation is what gets people in trouble, because some Christians interpret the Bible this way, some interpret the Bible this way, some interpret it this way. Like, a lot gets lost in translation and interpretation. And then here's another thing. All of the books of the Bible aren't there. You got the book of Enoch, that's not there. You got the book of Mary, that's not there. You got the book of
I got where you go with it.
You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of book that was even taken out of the Bible.
But you know what, Knight, and you're right. But I think Pooch, one of the things that he said was big and critical and profound. You still stand with the analogy of that of the Bible being a manual of life. If you truly follow the book, and then even to your point, Knight, people take things and they pick and choose pieces out of it, and they interpret it the wrong way, and they use the Bible to go start wars. They use the Bible to keep people enslaved. Well, see, but if everyone were to read their manual and live based on what's in that manual, none of those items would happen, because the manual, one of the rules that I know that's in there says, treat people the way that you wanted to be treated. So if you don't think that you would enjoy being a slave and that you think is right, how can you enslave another people and then try to use the Bible to help you do it? Now, listen to this though. We talked about what causes the issues as it relates to religion is the interpretation and the human nature aspect of it, because we can take anything and corrupt it, and we do, humans. This segues into the next question, and then you can relate it back to the Bible. With that being said, and Pooch, I'm coming to you. What stops us from doing the right thing? Because if we all know what those manuals say, we know what's in them. We know what the rules are. We know when we're doing wrong and we're sinning. What stops us from doing the right thing then? What stops us from, why do we continuously do wrong? I mean, that's a big question, but
yeah. Art said the book of Enoch make Revelations look like a bedtime story, which is true. The book of Enoch, you gotta, like, if you're really interested in religion, you should really read that. Like, seriously, yeah. You can look. Hey, Pooch, like you are the authority as far as us three goes on that, and you haven't said a word yet.
Because y'all been just steady talking. I told y'all before, I'm not going to interrupt if y'all having a conversation and I just listen. I don't think there's anything more I have to say other than what was said, which is, you know, when you look at the Bible, it is God's letter to mankind, giving us insight into who he is, how we were created, what he expects of us, and no other book tells you that in its entirety. It told you how we got into the situation that we got into, how there's a way out of the situation that we're into, meaning imperfection and sin. And
when you say no other book tells you that,
I say in its entirety. In its entirety. So you got to listen to everything I'm saying and stop taking out parts of it. I say in its entirety. No other book gives you exactly our beginning, how we got to the state we're in, how to get out of the state we're in, and the parasitic conditions that's to come.
And so you've read those books, and you know that stuff is not.
I read the Bible. No, I'm talking about just the Bible. I don't know what's in every book that's ever written about man.
No, I'm talking about, like, have you read the Quran? Have you read, like?
No, I haven't. But I'm telling you,
he's talking about the Bible in general is the only.
Yeah, but he said that's the only book. That's the only book that tells you how to.
See, once again, you're not listening. I say in its entirety, Terry. That means from the beginning to the end. No other book gives you that information from beginning to the end in its entirety. Some other books might give you bits and pieces, or they might give you a heads up of some certain things. But I know that the Bible, first of all, the Bible is the oldest circulated book in history.
Right, true.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about something.
I mean, I'm not saying that we're having a debate, right? That's what the show is for.
We're not debating the Bible.
No, we're not debating.
We're having a discussion.
Right.
All right, well,
but
we're having a discussion.
But the next topic was about what makes us do.
Yeah, what makes us, what stops us from doing the right thing?
Well,
I mean, like I said, that's a big.
It's a loaded question. It's a loaded question. But the thing is, in my opinion, what stops us from doing the right thing, and based on the things that I've learned from the Bible, is sin and imperfection. Our natural state as human beings is to sin or commit sin. It's hard for human beings to do the right thing because the right thing may not always be often in your best interest. You understand? That's where the complexity of the issue comes in. Is it in harmony with your best interest? And a lot of people don't act outside of their best interest. That's just mankind. And those who do are the ones we call selfless, are the ones we call thoughtful, are the ones we call kind. Those are the ones who can act out of their best interest to appease man or to do the right thing for man.
Right.
And those are special individuals.
And we all do, though. I think that we all, to your point, we all do make wrong choices and do the wrong thing, even when we know that they're wrong. We all do. That's human nature. So even those people that you mentioned, the selfless, the good people, they sin also and do the wrong thing. They're not perfect. you know, but again, that's we all do. What do you think, Nike?
Yeah, I think like, and just like Pooch, we go to him for like the biblical type of, you know, information because he's more involved. You know, he knows more about.
I just read the Bible. That's all. I'm not
well,
authority.
you read it more. I'm giving you credit because you read it more than I do. You know what I mean? Like, so as far as when you say people doing the wrong thing or the bad thing, I'm an expert on that. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? You know, from growing up, I didn't always do the right thing. And y'all know, you know, I was into a lot of shit that,
yeah,
you know, so, but becoming a man, like some of the things that I've done have made my life, like the different problems or the different heartaches or the different you know, issues, pitfalls that I went through was because I wasn't doing the right thing. So then I decided, like, is it the world or is it me, right? You know what I mean? Like, why is all this bad shit happening to me? You know what I mean? So then I decided to, you know, well, it was actually decided for me.
Right.
But once whatever happened, I had to put on my big boy pants and, you know, and do it the way it was supposed to be done. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to.
Yeah, you know, and what's funny is that, you know, they have a saying that when you know better, you do better. And, you know, and throughout life, you know, that helps. But, you know, there are going to be times, sometimes you can't reach a person. You know, they're going to be.
And you know what? Sometimes you have to get kicked on your ass.
Some people learn.
You know what I'm saying? You have to get kicked on your ass before you learn differently. It makes you think, like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? And then that makes you pull your. Either you're gonna learn from it or you're gonna get back into the same shit. So
I guess really, and as we, as adult men, as we're imparting our thoughts and our hopefully values on other people, that our goal is to just expose them to, hopefully, you know, maybe if we made a wrong decision, say, look, don't learn from my mistakes, but expose them to the information and hope that they don't do something that's so detrimental to them later on in life, because we know they're gonna make mistakes. So don't screw yourself up so bad early on that you do something that you can't recover from. I guess that's the goal of it, because like you said, you know, you can't reach everybody, and people by nature, we take the role of least resistance. So sometimes that's doing the wrong thing, you know, because it comes easy. What do you think, Pooch?
Well, you know, like I said, you know, it's hard to do the right thing in some people's eyes because, like I said, it goes against their best interests. So as human beings, everything in life is choice, right? Whether you're going to do the right thing or the wrong thing. But I think it's about your moral compass, your conscience. Is this going to bother my conscience? Is this going to make me not sleep at night? But the same way around, you can ask yourself, well, will I feel better if I do this? If I do this one thing that I know is the right thing, is it going to bring me joy?
Right.
And you know, it goes back to what we learned when we were growing up. Our parents kind of told us, you know, or somebody told us, hey, this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing. Stay away from this. Don't get burned by the fire. If you stay on this path and do what you're supposed to do in school and all that, treat people nice, you'll go somewhere in life. But even with that, bad things still happen to good people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's a way of how you view the world and what governs your life. Like for me, I try to live a certain way by Bible standards and treat people the way I want to be treated. And I try to be swift about listening and slow to speak.
Okay.
You know, so you guys always ask me why I don't say nothing much, because I'm listening. And when you listen to people talk, you can then give an appropriate response based on what you just heard.
So when you're imparting your morals like to your kids or to kids or what have you,
right?
I mean, okay, you base yours, a lot of yours on the your religion, you know, your religion.
Not everything.
No,
I mean,
some. Let's just say some.
Part of what I learned about the Bible and a lot of what I learned growing up in the streets, right. And I try to implement those things in how I taught my kids, especially my youngest son, because the one thing I always try to tell him was, if you do the right things in life, right, even if something bad happens to you, you can say, I did the right thing in this situation.
I guess what I was going to say, though, is that we have to be crafty enough to meet those young people where they are. Because if they're running the street, you talking about the Bible, it's not gonna reach them. You know, you have to tell it. You know, we have to tell our message to the kid that we're trying to reach. You know, now and that was a good point that Terry said. You know, we all did things younger, and now when we look back, it was like, man, you know, that wasn't.
Yeah.
I guess.
And that's look, Stace. I believe that's one of the reasons that I lost my son. Is because he was wilding out here in the streets, trying to. I think he was trying to like live up to some shit that he heard about me from back in the day. You know what I mean? Right. And a lot of that shit was like, he don't realize that. And I tried to. You don't know how many times I tried to bring him down here and get him out the streets, but he kept going back, just because I think he was under trying to like live up to some stupid expectation or some stupid like bruh, I already did all that shit, so you wouldn't have to. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't got that. You wasn't raised like that. Like, so
even with that though, I mean, so how do you reach those kids? Because really, like you said, what you were trying to do, Nike, was what you had to remove him from that.
Right. That's why I came down. That's one of the reasons I came down here.
Right. I mean, so how do we reach those kids that we know that we need to remove? I mean, I look at my family. I look at my son. I'm like, Stace, you know, I need you to come stay with me. You know what I mean? You know, it's hard to reach those kids unless you can actually physically reach them. You know, so because sometimes just saying it over the phone is not going to suffice. You know what I mean?
But Stace, let me just jump in this real quick. So you have your son's ear because of the example you set as a father. You know, when he was growing up in his formative years, he knows you to be a father that really cares and is concerned about his well-being. So you have his ear, right? He may still want to do some of the things he wants to do, but ultimately he's going to look at like, man, my dad taught me better than this, or my dad showed me a better path. And that's what we have to do first and foremost as fathers when we teach our kids, is we have to teach them the right way to go about doing things. Like T talked about the example he set so his sons wouldn't follow in his footsteps. Even though you did your best to pull yourself out of North Philly and move to a different area where you can raise your kids, sometimes
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm saying sometimes children, they may not listen. Right? Like my brother Rob, y'all know, you know Rob. Rob was like, you know, he walked his own path.
Right.
You know, I can't get mad at him for doing what he wanted to do, but what the consequences sometimes of your actions can be painful,
true.
You know, or cause pain in some instances. And we as men, all we can do is walk a path that our children hopefully will follow and say, my father did the right thing in this situation, so here's what I'm going to do in this situation.
Right. What you about to say, Nike?
No, I was just getting ready to quote on Guy Lang. He was like, you got to give credit to Hov for that line. But I was like, I did this shit so you don't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I just hit him back though. Hov got that from me.
Your Hov got that from a lot of people.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what, though, man? I mean, it might sound corny, But I posted reposted something on Facebook the other day. It might sound corny now, but I think we realize the importance of, or the lack thereof, the lack of male teachers. Especially you talking about young boys, our young boys growing up, not having that father in the home, to have a teacher in their face every day from early on that can touch them, because you might not be living with me, but you're in my class every day at a young age. You can, that male teacher has a lot of influence that no one else in that kid's life might have. You know what I mean?
But Stace, it's so hard for us black men to save our sons, man.
You think why you say that?
Because it's like, so if I'm raising my kids, right? I got four boys and a girl, right? If I'm raising the shit out of my kids, sometimes it don't matter what I tell them or what I do to them, because some other nigga ain't raising his kids.
You can't live your life.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So if my son get with somebody who his dad ain't doing shit, and then they do something,
right?
You know what I mean? Like
you can't live.
It's hard for us to. That's how we keep losing. We have to
see. But Nike. I don't know if I say it's hard. No, it's hard out there. I agree with that. But I think all not, and I don't want to minimize it, but really what we're saying is that we just have to be there. We just have to be there. And don't get me wrong, like we said earlier, those especially those boys are still gonna want to go out there and make those mistakes. But if that kid is under your arm all day, and I'm not saying that
when they get a certain age though, it's only so much you can do, Stace.
You can't control.
You know what I'm saying? You can't.
But I think the goal is to lay the groundwork early. That's I remember someone was talking to me one time, and I was saying I didn't really have to beat my kids. I laid the groundwork starting from the time that they can walk. If they do something, I stick my hand up. Like, do you want me to get them legs? And they knew what that meant. So you lay the groundwork early. As they get older, then you don't have to put your hands on them for the most part. But like you said, you can't control them. You can't control them. But I think that if you lay that groundwork early, it comes back. I think it comes back.
Hey, Stace, one quick thing.
Yeah.
First of all, change your name and say Anthony Mosley on there.
So it's two of us?
Yeah.
Twins out this bitch.
Second of all,
Arnold and Danny.
I know. I didn't
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito, twins.
Yeah,
Come
twins.
on, man.
Hey, look, man. All you said was Arnold and Danny. I'm supposed to know what that means.
And Arnold and Danny.
You just pull that out of nowhere.
But to piggyback on your point, I think we all saying the same things in terms of, wanting to teach our kids a certain way. Like for me, like I said, I go by what the Bible says, that Deuteronomy 6:4. It talks about training your child, inculcating, what you learn. I'm paraphrasing. Inculcating into your child the things that, that God wants, you teach your children to know in order for them to be respectful,
right.
Trained children in terms of that healthy fear and that healthy
respect,
understanding of what's right and wrong. So if you do that at a young age, because I see it so many times in my faith, I see parents with their children when they're at the meetings, and their children so well behaved. Now they may not always stay that way.
Absolutely. Sure they
but the earlier you get them and the earlier you show them that right way to how to do things,
right,
chances are that they will turn out to be better productive human beings.
Right.
Even if they stray, even if they do some stuff that you just be like, I didn't raise you like that.
Right.
At least they won't go too far to the left where they have no control over what they do.
Right. All right. Mike, you want to add one more point in here, man?
Yeah, but okay, so my last point on this is I understand what you're saying, Pooch, but just like both of us have had, I don't know if you want me to say it. I've had a son that that has gone to jail.
You kind of said it when I was saying that.
I've had a son to go into jail.
I'm not talking about your son. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I say your son was the brain first, but mine.
I'm just saying, like, so I had a son that was in jail for a mistake that I know for a fact that that's not him.
Right.
And once he got like, he's like, he even says it to this day, like, Dad, you know, that wasn't me.
Right.
I got in, you know what I mean? I was going along with my boy and got caught up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the consequences are the same.
That's right.
Whether you're a good person or whether you're this asshole, if y'all doing the same shit, y'all going the same place.
Yeah, but but as they say though, I mean, because you know, I'm sure that you looked at some of your kids' friends and looked at them with a side eye, like, you know what?
The thing is, I didn't even know this dude. Like, I know I know just about all. Like, you know, when we went down there, when we walked up, everybody knew me.
Right.
Like,
right.
mostly all the kids that's in my son's life.
Now, see, well, the difference is though, also, your kid was a little older, but I remember coming up, I used to, you know, my kids, some of them, I point to them like, he's not going the right way. And you can't control him, but I had to make sure that when he was in the company of that little kid that, you know, he had to be deprogrammed when he came back, you know, and I was talking about being a part of it with all my kids. It was, what did you do today? How was this? How was that? What does that mean? You know, so.
But the thing is, I can sit here and tell you, I did all that. I did all that.
I mean, again, like,
you know, man, I always been there for my kids.
Right, yeah.
You know, but that's what I'm saying. They ain't had to work. They ain't had to fucking ask for nothing.
And
but
my point is that that's not to say that things won't happen. You know, that's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's harder for a black man to raise kids than just about anybody else because they have so
more obstacles,
outside influence.
Right. Agreed.
But that's why I said, even if your child, even if you can teach your child everything you know to be true and to be right, and they still gonna do what they want to do. But all you can do as a parent, and looking at some of the comments, they agree. All you can do as a parent is your best.
That's right.
And then hope for the best.
Right.
And pray for the best. But even though your son went to jail and my son went to jail, you know.
And we rate like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like we wasn't in their life.
Right. Let me finish my point. Even though your son went to jail, what did he tell you? He said, Dad, that's not me. Because see, he realizes him. Right, but what I'm saying is he realizes that what he was doing doesn't define him as a person.
Absolutely.
He made a mistake, but he's going to let the rest of his life define who he is as a man. And all you can do now is, as a father, keep loving him and keep working with him.
Hey, and we was talking about having him on the show next week.
Yeah,
Hopefully he's able to join us. Yeah. Because those interviews, he did a couple interviews when he got out. You know, like I showed y'all. He turned his whole life around, man. Well, he didn't have that much to turn anyway. He just got caught.
He got caught up in a bad situation. You know, and that's why I would say, don't let your mistakes define who you are as a person.
Agreed. All right, so we're gonna change directions. You know, we that was interesting. I think that was heartfelt also because you know, we all raising young men, you know, young black boys to young men. So that is really relevant. I mean, and daughters are a completely different story totally.
And I'm proud of all of them, man.
Yeah, that was nice.
Our kids is doing the damn thing, you know what I mean?
Agreed. All right, yo. Pooch, man, what's up with these stimulus checks, man? What's going? What's happening? Yo, what's up with these stimulus checks, man? You know,
I'm hoping to get one. That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? What? I mean, is it a good idea? I mean, what?
Yeah, if you can get one.
You say what now?
It's a good idea if you can get one.
I mean.
God damn, they front on the nigga
I think they should have been doing this, to be honest with you. To be perfectly honest, they should have been doing it.
And that's my point. Like, the government has a license to print paper, to print money. They should be giving their citizens on. If you're not gonna cut taxes, at least be giving your citizens an assistance for people that's like a certain threshold and below. Besides, we ain't talking about welfare.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, for working class people, they should also. I remember. Okay, point is that I remember I had a discussion with a friend of mine, and I said, instead of just giving food stamps to those who are on welfare, every family should get about $600 in food stamps every month. Because what that would do, you know, like T, you had like 3 or 4 kids in your household. How much did you spend on food every month?
That's right.
I had boys, nigga. I spent a grip on food.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, for sure.
Just imagine you knew every month you was gonna get about $600 to help aid in buying food, and that money that you saved that you had to put out for food, you can put that money elsewhere. Maybe you can save it for college, something like that.
You know, though, and my point also is that what better way to stimulate the economy than to put money in the hands of the people that go out and spend it. You know, and I understand the thought behind tax cuts. Too. You say what?
Look, they spending that shit too, because when my kids my kids was down here and we went to the daggone
seafood joint,
Crabtree. No, we went to the Crabtree Mall down this joint.
Yeah.
That mall ain't never that crowded like that, man. And I'm talking about usually when you go there, you see a lot of people, but don't nobody got no bags.
Right.
Everybody had bags down there.
Got bags. They spent
everybody had bags. You know, but they was
like,
buying bullshit though. Like,
you say what?
They was buying bullshit. Like
now you know what though? Now that's a good segue. The last item that we had was investments. I mean, you're not getting enough to be rich, you know, and I get it because I think that sometimes we have to be realistic. If you getting letters from the gas company and the electric company, you probably are gonna that all that money is going out the door. On needs, things that you need and that are requirements. You're not talking about saving.
Well, what I'm saying, there was people out there like I was in the sneaker store too, but there was some different shit with that. There was some different shit with that. You know what I'm saying?
Black Friday out there joining up.
Yeah, but niggas buying $200 sneakers, $150 jeans. You know what I mean? All this crazy shit. And I'm like, for what?
But T, even though that's crazy to you, it still helps the economy. You know what I mean?
The economy, but that's putting
how
money
much
back
does it
in
help
white
that
people.
person?
Look, that's putting money back in white people pockets, not ours.
But no, even deeper than that though. How helpful is the economy to be walking around with a pair of $200 jeans versus a pair of jeans that cost $50? Right. You know, I can't really.
So you want somebody to go spend the stimulus check on a pair of Rigolettos?
Yeah, I can't even wear them tight ass jeans they be wearing now. $50 jeans, and you got, you know what I mean, looking like leotards on your shit. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you can get a pair of two-tones real cheap right about now, man. You know?
Oh, you get your pair of them Stonewatch jeans
or some Devils. I'm saying you can find some Devils somewhere.
Yo, man, it was out of order out that joint, man.
What'd you say, Nate?
It was out of order out that joint. I was just looking like, I knew that. I was like, you can't tell me everybody got paid today.
See, but you know what though, Nike? You know, but
like the first of the month.
Is that the problem with the mindset though? That you know, when you don't have the ability to do those things, as soon as you get it, it's gonna burn
out the door, and then you still don't have it.
Say it again.
Whenever you when you get money and then you just spend it on bullshit, then you still don't have no money. All you stuck is with the bullshit you bought.
Yeah, but what about the person that says that if you know them walking around with a pair of jeans that cost $200 make them feel good? I mean, I guess it has to be a balance though, right?
It makes them feel good for the moment, man. You got to look
every
past
time
the
you
moment,
wear them.
man. You got to look at your. You got to come out this what they call that shit?
That consumer mentality.
No, it's like when you just be buying shit just to be buying shit. What they call that shit?
Consumers.
All right, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like
you know, people that buy stuff and they got money and they go to the store and they purchase things.
It's called consumer, nigga.
Just.
Nah, hey, look. Here's my feeling in a nutshell. I can't look at my 52-year-old self and think about how I do things now as opposed to my 22-year-old self. Because my 22-year-old self, I was getting a stimulus and it was for $1,400. I'd have been at the mall like the rest of the cats, tearing it up.
You know what? Now
that $1,400 ran out.
Somebody just said that. Patricia, she said she worked hard So she buys what she wants, and that's the way
That's
a lot of people.
different. That's the difference too.
Because what?
When you work hard for your money,
Okay.
and you want to buy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you treat your money different when you work hard for it than you do if it's just coming. If it's just coming to you quick. Fast money don't last.
Correct.
And nobody can tell you that better than me. Like, you know what I mean? When you get money, and you on top, you just buying bullshit. Oh, you got all these people around you now. You got all these friends. You got everybody want to hang around you. As soon as you fall off, all the people is gone. Now you buy yourself. You buy yourself going to North Carolina.
All the time.
You buy yourself in North Carolina.
That's not the same thing, though, T. That's not really the same thing. Like Patricia said, and to your point, like, okay, I work for my money, so there's times where I might spend $200, I might buy $200 worth of, something for the house. Like that money,
like for your
she about the $200 jeans. So like you spend your money where you think you get the value out. You know what I mean? Like I like to go out and eat dinner, so I'll drop $1.50. I
know you like steak and shrimp and lobsters
for your go-to meal.
Yeah, your go-to meal. You gotta have money for that go-to meal.
Hey, you eat that every day. As you listen to In Vogue. As you listen to In Vogue.
As you listen to In Vogue, boy.
That's right. While y'all listening to whatever y'all listen to, I'm listening to what the ladies like.
All right.
But the point is, I mean, you work hard for your money, you spend it any way you want. Nobody can tell you what you're fun. But to your point about if you getting the money and it ain't no way for it to come back.
You don't respect it.
Don't go out there and drop $1,400 on 4 items, because that once you leave out that store, that value is already gone. It's like buying a new car. As soon as you leave the lot, it already depreciated by like $5,000.
That's right.
So you have to be smart about how you use your money. But be honest with you, like I said, my 52-year-old self see that.
I was gonna say that.
I would never thought like that.
Right? Yeah. Because
if I saved $200 of that $1,400, I was good.
Right.
But one thing I can say, so if you buying like things that will keep their value, that's kind of like a different story. You know what I mean? Because I got some watches and all this. I don't even wear jewelry and watches and all that shit because I think it's pretentious. You know what I mean? Only thing I got a couple like bracelets and they not like gold and none of that shit that I wear, like just regular old, shit like that. But I don't wear jewelry, you know what I mean? But I got jewelry from back in the day.
She got to spend her stimulus now.
Yeah.
She said,
but what I'm saying is some of the shit that I had back in the day, I still got, and it's still worth money.
Well, but that's different though. Actually, oddly enough though, Nike, there's a different word for that. I mean, if you buying money, if you spending money on something that's going to increase in value, that's that's an investment.
Right.
But I think, you know what? I mean, too many of us, maybe we should have been having conversations or knowledge of, some investments that don't cost a lot of money to kind of say, look, at least put $200 or spend $200 on this because this will increase in value and be worth a little something more later, but too many times, we don't do that, we don't do that. But like I said, I think that there was no better way to stimulate the economy than to do this kind of stimulus. And I agree with what you said.
Niggas need to try to stimulate my damn economy.
Yeah.
I got $150 the last stimulus check. Come on, man.
I mean,
they could have kept that.
Didn't have.
Yeah, that's true.
But did
you send it back or did you keep it?
Why give me $150? Like what?
Yeah. Like Stacey said, if you were so insulted, you should have sent it back.
You should have sent it back. Or my cash app is Stacey Dally.
Yeah, you could have poured it to your homies.
Yeah, man. I don't know. All right, so was that the last issue right there, right?
No, we talked about we even get into the investments.
No, we ain't even get into the investment part.
Because that was the perfect segue into investment.
Invest in Black Brothers, RealBrosLive.
What an investment.
Yeah, that's a good investment because we're gonna blow this shit up.
Yo, yeah.
Catch us on the come up.
But I guess we you know what though, and that's true because you do have some of my homies have podcasts and different things talking about investments. You know, we need to do a better job. You know, I guess educating ourselves so that we can talk to our the young ones about the right way to spend money or a better way to spend money. Because like everyone's saying up here, you know, people deserve to treat themselves within reason. You know what I mean? Well, what were your thoughts about investments, Pooch? What did you have in mind, man?
I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I guess I do the typical thing, 401k, and to try to have some money put away for when I retire in about 10 to 12 years. And then I do some other small things. My youngest son has helped me understand Bitcoin and stuff like that.
Just talking about that today, man.
Yeah. So there's different ways you can invest. I mean, obviously the 401k is probably the most common that we use because of the money that the company that you work for will match in certain instances.
Right. You get some free money, right?
Yeah, and but even with that, you still gotta be smart,
right?
Because every year they send you a different plan. Well, we're doing this plan now, and there's different ways you can take that money or some of that money and put it into this plan. So you have to be intelligent and read up on. You ain't got to be like
you have to be taught you have to be taught to invest your money or save your money.
Right.
Like
or teach
black people aren't really taught that.
Right.
In the home.
You know what, Nike, and I've always one of the things I've always said, man. I think that we spend so much time in what I call survival mode. It's a little, we so busy trying to survive and trying to not to lose the shirt on our back and keeping.
It's not just losing the shirt on our back, Stace.
No, but
you know what? We as black people, we always trying to make people think we have more than what we have.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like we always got to buy the designer shit. We always got to buy the most expensive shit. White people don't live like that.
Yeah, you're
right.
right.
That's not true. That's not true.
I ain't talking about them Hollywood motherfuckers you see, they fronting too.
But that's not even true.
Most people is living beyond their means. And they don't invest money like they should.
Right.
Well, here's what I'll tell you about that. I will just simply say and see, this is why I don't get into well, as black people, we're not doing this, so we should be doing that. Because all you can do, right? It's what's best for you and your family. And the next person.
I got investments. I ain't talking about me. I got investments.
I'm gonna say this, fellas. I'm gonna say this, and put Miss Stevens said, and I'm not trying to be smart, but Miss Stevens just said, how can we invest in this group? The reason that I repeated that is because I think that's gonna have to be the next step. The same way that the three of us came together and we're talking about working on this thing here. Well, actually, the four of us came together, and then
where Bobby Brown at? Bobby Brown.
He's on here, but I think one of the pillars of African cooperative economics. I don't think that we will have the ability to pull ourselves to the next level as individuals. I think it's going to take us coming together
as a group.
Because again, I think that we can do okay as individuals. We can live, but in order to make that next step,
right,
as a bunch of small ones, as a bunch of small people, and I don't mean that literally, small dollar people, I'll say, I think it's going to take us coming together. It's going to take.
But that's how they do it. Investment capital
that's how they
groups.
do it.
Investment capital groups invest in their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I do agree that in order for there to be more financial stability amongst our people, that there has to
we need to learn how to manage money better.
And people have to come together. But that's another thing.
Black people need to learn how to manage money better.
Agreed. 2 weeks ago, we talked about what could you do to make the community better. Well, one thing you could do is, if that's your field of expertise, have little workshops to teach people how to invest.
Well, I know how to invest my money. I wouldn't be comfortable telling somebody else how to invest their money because that's not what I do.
Though,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you have other expertise though. So everybody used. I mean, think about this group here. Everybody's bringing something different to the table to create the whole. So, you know, you might not be the one telling people the different vehicles that are out there. You bring your expertise to the table and it's being used somewhere else. But again, I still repeat what I say, that I think in order for us to take that next logical step, we're going to have to work together. You know, we're going to have to.
And I'm going to give you an example of that, like investing, like why I say that black people need, like I work with this young white dude named Matt, right? A couple years ago, about maybe 2.5 years ago, he showed me this computer that he bought all the different parts to, and, you know, put it together. And he said he's going to start doing Bitcoin mining, right? Mining Bitcoin. This brother just bought for Christmas, well, in December, he bought an A5 cash money from Bitcoins and from mining Bitcoins. Like, he invested that $5,000 to do something. And here he is, he getting that kind of return on that. We don't know how to do, you know what I mean? A lot of us don't know how to, I ain't saying all of us don't know how to do it.
Right.
But most of us I don't know how to do it.
Well, I mean, well,
you understand what I'm saying?
Like, I again, you know, well, a couple things. Something you said earlier is the case. I mean, if that interests you, then you do your research and you find the way to get in. I mean, nowadays, as I tell my kid, if you don't know something nowadays because you don't want to know,
right?
Because we have access to all types of information.
Right. To learn.
But I'm going to repeat what I said though. I still believe that even again, we all have something that's valuable that we can bring to the table to work together to uplift us as a whole. You know what I mean? I think the bigger problem is the fact that we're so distrustful of each other that we can't even come together to join a group to create to do something together because we don't trust each other. You know, I think that's the bigger problem.
But I think that lack of trust is, you know, that mindset that's been created by others to make us think that we are untrustworthy or we can't.
But that ain't the case. Outside people try to make us think that.
Right, but if you
Black Wall Street was the biggest stock market in the world at one point. You know what I'm saying? We can, like, black people have the resources to do it. It's just,
that's right.
You know, they got to stop talking about it all the time and talk about what we want people to give us and put some shit together. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but then why don't you then
keep talking about everything all the time? Like, the conversation is good, but
because it has to start somewhere. I agree.
Yeah, the conversation is good, but what I'm saying is, like, it can't always be conversation.
Right.
It can't always be marches. It can't always be, you know, we need them to do us. We need the government to do this. No, it has to be, sometimes it has to come a point where you stop talking and start doing. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, wake me up when you do something. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not out here marching.
Right.
I'm not fucking up my shoes.
Right.
Like, let me know when y'all ready to do something. That's the way I roll.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't really about all that talk.
Now, what were you about to say, Pooch?
Well, no, I'm just looking at some of the comments and Patricia Trigger Edwards said, "Me and someone else can make the same amount of money, but it may not appear that we do because we spend differently." And that's basically just keeping it down on the ground level. That to me is such a true response, because you and I, Stace, or you and I, Terry, can make the same amount of money. Right. But how you spend it is the key.
That's right.
You chose to get out of the hood and go buy a house and put your family in a better situation, where somebody else might say, you know what, I'm going to drop a couple of grand on this brand new car and pay a $500 a month car note, knowing that it's going to be a struggle. You know what I mean? Right. But they're not thinking, you know, upwards. They're thinking, let me just do what I can. Look, prime example. How many of us live check to check? Check to check when you making about 60, 70,000 a year is ridiculous.
Right. It is.
You should be putting away money every month. I got
and
money.
that goes back to what I was saying. You living
401k.
beyond your means for no reason.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, you know what, man? What Miss Stevens said though, you know, I know that we have an idea of where this is gonna. We're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to come back. Like you said it though. You know, talking is one thing, but also it's about doing. And I'm gonna say this. I mean, we have an idea of where we're going with this, but eventually, you know what? Maybe that's something to consider. Maybe later on down the line, once everything is established and everything is, that we roll it out and give other. You know, I don't know what the answer is.
Probably do something like a cooperative where, you know, we can have people join and we could like do some either fundraising or and start like start something that's substantial. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, because again, and actually, I was thinking about it when we were talking about religion. I think that what scares me is that the black church is probably our strongest institution that's still left. You know, that's the place where we got together. That's the place where we got on the same page. We were able to level set in the church. We heard one person or a group of people speaking, and we all got on the same page. And that's where we were social together and everything else. So
and mosques. Don't leave them out.
No. Okay, religion. I'm just talking about religion.
Right.
Religion, period. So if that's starting to wane, and they have shown statistics that, you know, membership, people attending churches, the levels are going down. And the conversation that we started with, if there's no way to grab those people back, I think we're losing an opportunity, because here we have another institution that's going to break apart even further, keeping us apart. So at least if a group of people join the mosque or a group of people join the church and it was run the right way, they could do something.
But Stace, look,
at a greater scale.
Here's an idea too. How awesome would it be to start something like a church, but not religion based, but like a church or a community organization, right? Not religion based, because you would want Christians, Muslims, whoever. You know what I mean? Not, you know what I mean, to all congregate on like a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And then just like you give money to a church, you give money to this organization. And then you, just like you have a building fund, you have whatever your community is trying to do. Maybe you have maybe you want to buy, like, you want to build like a house, build housing. Or, I mean, it's so much stuff that can be done.
Right.
But it's just you have to do it and not talk about it, right? Like you gotta bust it up enough to plan it out, and then you can get people with the right knowledge involved.
Right.
That's one of the most important things. To have people that have a specific talent. You know what I mean? And everybody is in their lane doing their thing for the same objective.
Now check this out. So with that being said, that I think personally, I think one of the things that to attempt to answer my own question, I think something that stops us is ego, man. I think we start coming together and everybody wants to be the boss, and no one can say, okay, well, I'm not the boss, or that's not my expertise. And I don't mean, when I say stay in my lane, I don't mean not have input, but you defer to those that know. You're good in IT. Right. So when we came together with this thing, we deferred to you as it related to.
That's like with the rehab program that I'm trying to put together. You know what I mean? I know what I want to do, but that's why I got with Guy, and I'm trying to get some, get the paperwork and everything together to him to do that, because I know, like, I don't have that expertise. And from what I think that he has more of that than I do. And that can be all in conjunction with what we're doing now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I think that we're gonna have to we could put that on the back burner, man, because I think that as we continue to do this, then we at some point we can roll it out to people and find out if there is interest to do something. What that something is, I don't know. And I'm not even saying that we need to even start talking about it, but if we're gonna be doing this for a while, then why not parlay this into something else if that opportunity presents itself? You know what I mean? Or better yet, why not make the opportunity where the one doesn't currently exist? You know,
Right.
we think, Pooch.
I mean, I hear the coming together as a community. Sounds a little fairy tale-ish, because one thing I know about people in the Black community, rather, and I'm not talking about myself or anybody on this panel or anybody viewing, but we all know somebody that would rather take their money and play lottery. They invest in lottery heavily, but they won't invest in their community, or they won't invest.
Again, like we talked about with the kids,
worthwhile.
you can't reach those people, so we have to.
You got to reach who you can reach.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it takes a village and a community to raise just one child the right way. Right. So if we're talking about what can we do, I look at it at an individual basis, and you know. But all I can do is talk to people about what I know and pass on information.
And Pooch, as what you and not to say anything negative about what you just said, but that's kind of one of our problems as Black people.
Individual.
But we always are telling each other what we can't do. You know what I mean? Oh, well,
who said what we can't do? I didn't say what people can't do.
No,
I just said what's going on right now is what I know to be true right now.
Right, but what I'm saying is, you don't worry about what whoever ain't interested, they not interested. That's that ain't got nothing to do with.
Link up.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, how was that not in harmony with what I just said about talk to who you can talk to, and you try to get them interested in doing something maybe on a grander scale, in hopes that they talk to somebody else, and then they talk to somebody. You know that old shampoo commercial? They tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and so on and so on. Well, that's all you can do is talk to your inner circle and hope they branch out to their inner circle. And then, you know what I mean? And that's how you build something worthwhile. You know, it starts as an idea.
Right.
How it grows depends on how you get that message out.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna grow this thing. It's gonna get where it needs to be. It just takes time, you know what I mean?
The ideal will present itself, man. I mean, the more we're doing this, and hopefully if the people that are tuning in remain interested, and I know that there's some like-minded people there because we know some of them. So maybe this will present an opportunity for all of us to get on the same page and decide to do something with this collective energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and I think we should. You know, I think we should. To your point, Knight, and I agree with what you said. You know, I was never one to not be all for pulling the trigger. Not literally, but doing.
Leave that to me.
Right. You know, I know
I was just playing.
You know, I know the importance of it. You know, so we'll get back to that. So do we hit everything, man? What's up?
I think we did.
You the moderator. You tell us.
I think we did. All right. So any closing thoughts from either one of you? Nike, any closing thoughts, man?
I just think that, I think we just have to keep our foot on the pedal, man. Just keep doing what we do, and this thing continue to grow. And we gotta start putting our other ideas in place, because, we just keep having to let this flower bloom, man. And we just got to start getting the other pieces into place. But
not to say too much, but as we said, I guess a couple weeks ago, that we're gonna keep rolling, and in the March we're gonna start making moves, and that we're coming up on that. So we're gonna be addressing that.
Yeah, and like as far as the contracts and all that, I got one of the top attorneys.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be once we get rolling, it's gonna be full steam ahead. You know what I mean?
Pooch, any parting thoughts, man?
Well, I guess what my parting thought would be, like God mentioned, we talked about that Let me read the quote so it can correct you. He said, everybody can't go along for the ride. Well,
nobody can go along for the ride?
Not everybody can go along for the ride, and that's true. But the invitation is for all. Right? So, and that can be a analogy for a lot of things, or metaphor for a lot of things. You know. So what I encourage individuals to do is, I don't care if you believe in God, don't believe in God, or I don't care if you believe in a one-party system of government or a 10-party system. Whatever your thoughts or your beliefs are, just be kind and positive towards other people.
Right. That's all you can do. Yep.
And don't let the world make you feel like that you're nothing in it.
That's right.
Believe in yourself.
That's right.
And educate yourself about everything that you can, so that you can prosper in this world and be a better person.
You know, one of the things when we talked about a lot of these issues in the past, even when we talked about mental health, you know, how it's nothing wrong with going for counseling. Even with that, I mean, you know, never feel like, and this is all of us, never feel like you're in this world alone, man. You know, there's always somebody that's
been through what you're going through, or is going through something worse than what you're going through.
Absolutely. You know, you never, because that loneliness, man, loneliness can be a beast.
I'll tell you another thing too, Stace. You know what's the biggest, like, I don't know, the roughest thing to have is a misunderstanding.
Right, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, one person can be thinking one thing, and then and another person can be thinking something else, when it's something totally different.
Right, that's right. The importance of
talking. Person
talking.
might be thinking like, damn, he did me like that.
Right, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And this person would be like, damn, I didn't mean to do that, or
you know, like,
yeah.
One of the things I always said on that note, man, is one of the things I always ask for, and I think I might have said this to y'all before. The only thing I ask for is the benefit of the doubt. You know, if someone thinks, and this applies to all of us.
Or talk to me, like
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
like,
before you jump to the negative,
yeah.
Before you jump to the negative, especially if it's someone that you know, give the person the benefit of the doubt and let them tell you directly. Well, no, what you thought you heard is what I meant. 9 times out of 10, like you said, you'll find that it was as a result of a misunderstanding.
Right. That's the worst thing that can happen, like having a misunderstanding with somebody.
That's right.
Because you might lose years. You might lose years and years and years of, like,
that's right,
just due to a misunderstanding, man. And that can be like one of the worst things that can happen to you if in certain situations. You know what I mean?
All right. So I just want to say, as we always say, you know, thank everybody for tuning in. You know, make this week a good week. And I think, I don't know if I said this before. Me and Pooch were talking about it before we came on. You know, sometimes you have those days that are like one of those quiet days, or something you don't feel quite right, or, you know, you're just not as chipper as you normally are. That's gonna happen. But one of the things we all had to realize, man, and this COVID, I think put a little perspective in life for us, that, man, life is fragile, it's short, and it's not guaranteed, man. So, you know, we all have to try to do things that we enjoy to just eke something out of it, because it's real easy to get stuck in the rut of just going to work and, you know, just commiserating in your, you know, in your pain and everything, man. You know, so try to do things to lighten it up. You know what I mean? We all need to do that.
And everybody just love each other, man. It's too much bullshit in the world, man.
That's
just
right.
love each other.
That's right.
And you know what? You can't love each other. Just sit back, smoke something, and chill.
That's right. That's right. So listen, we're gonna put this on YouTube. We're gonna have it. We have it on Facebook. We want to thank everyone for chiming in. Keep the comments coming. We're gonna be up there. I'm sure we'll be, posting comments also.
Yo, you got to tell them the YouTube channel.
YouTube channel, RealBrosLive YouTube channel, RealBrosLive.com.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Yeah, so and Real Bros Live on Twitter. We all over the place, man. This thing is growing, and we about to we about to do we are doing the damn thing.
That's
We're not
right.
about to
That's
do
right.
it. We doing it.
But we couldn't do it without y'all. So we
Yeah, and we like to thank everybody for tuning in, listening to us, and bullshitting with us for an hour out of your week. And but just hold on, cause we about to go on a ride. We about to go on a ride, real ride, for real.
All right, I'm gonna stop the live, Joan.
All right,
peace.
Talk to y'all next week.
All right, be safe. Hold up. How do I stop the live? Let me see something.
God said kumbaya.
All right, let me just do it this way.
Come on, Zach. Give me